All right. My name is Tyrone Gathers Jr., your host of the Source of the Inkwell, live on KUAW, Knowledge, Understanding, and Wisdom. You can check out this broadcast a number of ways. You can hit us up on KUAW.org. You can also go to KUAW Radio on Facebook. You can also go to KUAW Radio on Periscope, Twitter, and YouTube. And also, if you have an Alexa or an Echo, you can say play KUAW Radio, and it'll pop right up. Keep in mind, KUAW is Kansas City's global community radio station, and we can be reached at 816-599-6893. Today, we have a special guest in the studio. We have Miss Essence Tunley with National Black United Front. How are you doing today?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing very well, very well. Now, Essence, you're here for a reason. You're here to discuss an event that the National Black United Front is doing. But before we go into the event, can you please educate people on what NBUF is?
NBUF is the National Black United Front, and their organization that is established for the betterment of Black people.
Okay. So, and it's good that we have organizations like that, because when people think of organizations that are for the betterment of, Black people, the first organization that pops to mind is NAACP. Now, is it safe to ask what the difference is between NBUF and the NAACP? Because sometimes I like variety, and sometimes people need to be educated more on what is put out in front of their face.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, the one difference I can say for sure is that NBUF is Black owned and operated. I cannot say the same for NAACP.
Exactly.
So I can't say that they aren't a benefit or a staple in the community, but it's more, NBUF is a little more closer to home. It's a little more grassroots.
Okay, it's more grassroots and more close to home. I'm definitely glad you said that, because I have relatives that are in NBUF, and some of the information that they share with me when they come home and when I see them as a Black man, it definitely is substance. Now, I was able to see the difference between all the other organizations, but NBUF does have a chapter here in Kansas City, correct?
Yes.
Okay. And if someone wants to get involved with NBUF, how can they go about doing that?
I would suggest going to the Facebook page, National Black United Front of Kansas City, and inboxing our secretary, Brother Ngozi. He'll be able to talk to you about becoming a member.
Okay, excellent. Now, good organizations have great programming and great events. Now, you all have an event coming up this weekend, correct?
That's correct.
Okay, now what is it?
This weekend, we will be commemorating 100 years of the red, black, and green flag that was adopted by Marcus Garvey back in August of 1920. Right now, we're living in a time where we want representation, and you really can't have that if you don't. Well, you can have it, but it's always nice to have a flag or something to represent what you stand for. And the red, black, and green flag was established for Black people by Black people. It was part of the UNIA, the Universal Negro Improvement Association. The red is for the bloodshed of our people, the black is for the color of our skin, and the green is for represents the motherland. So this is definitely something that I think that we should get on and begin to educate ourselves on what it really means to be proud of your heritage.
I'm glad you said that, because I have the flag in my classroom, and I take pictures with it. I have students, take pictures with it if they want. They have copies of the flag in their lockers or whatnot. All throughout my 10 years of teaching, I've been like that in every one of my classroom settings. My child represents the flag. I mean, I'm starting him off at a young age, because I was started off at a young age with it, with the education of it. And you made a real good point where you said that representation. Now, historically speaking, do you feel that the flag that's waving right now is an equal representation to black people?
No, I don't.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, it's an honest question. Now keep in mind, now some people may feel that that's an an unpopular question to ask because they feel that we are in the United States of America. But what people got to understand is, when this thing first started, it wasn't for us.
Well, okay. Well, the United States of America was not for us, but this was always all of us.
Exactly. Yeah. As far as the actual country. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay, I agree with that. Yeah. I don't know. I just think culturally we need to look in what Stockholm syndrome is, and we also need to realize that you can raise a chicken and a cow. With cows, with that chicken, it will always be a chicken.
Exactly.
Amongst cows.
Right.
So, I mean, there's no. I guess I'm trying to choose my words carefully because I don't want to disrespect anyone's ideology or beliefs about this country. I do believe that this country is a great country, but not for the reasons that we've been told. You know, it's not because we have faster internet or we seem to be more civilized than other countries. It's not that. We're great because we have the opportunity. We do have the freedoms to develop nations within nations, and you can't do that in other countries. So not. I feel as if this is a good country because we can develop. We have the freedom to develop a nation within a nation. We don't have to continue to beg for things that we're not going to get. You know, the powers that be do not see us as equal to them. So the people that wrote the Constitution, the people that upholds the Constitutions and these amendments and all the pledges and all these things, they were not written with black people in mind. And when we go and start to ask for things like equal justice, you're asking your oppressor to come down to your level. You're not saying, they don't see it as you're asking to be rise me up to your level. And then even with that being said, as a human, why would you ask for that? Why would you ask somebody, treat me like I'm equal to you? If I have to ask that's a horrible relationship.
It is.
That's a horrible contract that you're in at that point. So I mean, I just think that as we begin to become more racially conscious and search for pride, we need to go ahead. The wheel has already been created. There's no need for us to recreate the wheel. So there's a flag there that was for us, by us, so we should carry that on. We should celebrate that. The same with the red, white, and blue flag.
Right,
you know, that flag was established by them for them, and they love that flag. They'll go to war for that flag. You know, they'll die for that flag, and that's just a sense of racial pride. And then I think that in today's climate we're starting to get to that. So I think that was kind of far off.
No, it wasn't.
Sorry.
It wasn't because I mean you're educating, and right now someone just got through sharing that because you're dropping knowledge. Now the actual day of the event to commemorate the 100 years of the waving of the red, black, and green is on what date again?
It's on July 15th.
August.
Thank you. It's August 15th. At one. Well, we're gonna gather at noon on 18th and Vine, and the procession will be treated similar to what you'll see as a funeral procession. We'll have escorts out there, so we're basically gonna ride through the city from 18th and Vine to 75th and Troost. We're going to cross 75th Street and go back down Prospect and meet back on 18th and Vine.
So like a motorcade.
It's a motorcade for sure.
Motorcade, okay.
So, and we'll have T-shirts for sale, and also there'll be flags for everyone to purchase and put on their car, or if they already have flags, just come out. And basically it's just a show of solidarity. You know, the LGBT LGBTQ community has a flag that represents them. Hispanics has a flag that represents their heritage and cultures and what they're proud of. Americans, black and white, have a flag that they're proud of. Italians, Spanish. There's absolutely no way we shouldn't do the same and show that same solidarity with our race.
You're right, and I totally agree with that because, it's funny how you can wave an American flag, okay? You can wave the flag of another country in this country.
Haitians,
okay?
Jamaicans.
Yeah, you can wave the flag of sexual preference in this country. You can also wave the flag of the enemy, the Nazis, and you can wave the flag of traitors, Confederacy. But when you wave the red, black, and green, that's when people start having problems.
Ooh, you want to go deep?
I mean, I'm just being real.
You are. Yeah. I mean, those are good observations.
Right. It is because, I was thinking, excuse me, in my yard, could I wave, the red, black, and green? What would people think? And I sat in my mind. I thought
You're
about
militant,
that. Yeah,
you a racist.
Yeah, right. Yeah, because I love my culture, it's a problem. Now, being that you're doing this event, and we just got through talking about the importance of that, am I off for saying what I just said? That it seemed like it's a problem for a black person to wave the black flag?
I don't think that you're off.
Okay.
By making that comment, I think you can see it. You know what I mean? So I mean, you can tell. For instance, I was at one of my daughter's school events, and the school is predominantly black. So when they open up every ceremony with saying the pledge allegiance, pledging your allegiance to the flag. Some people sat, some people stood. Mm-hmm. During that program, after the children performed, nobody stood and clapped for those children.
When they did the Pledge of Allegiance?
No, what I'm saying is we can stand for the Pledge of Allegiance, right, but after our kids have practiced and performed, yet we can't stand for that.
So you pledge allegiance to the flag, but not the people that it represents.
Right.
Okay.
So, and it's like, but again, that flag don't it was not established to represent our children.
Because in the anthem and then the pledge,
the pledge is, So, what I'm saying is, it's just, we've been programmed to self-hate and self-destruct because for generations and years they've been trying to kill us off, and we like babies, kids. We don't die, we multiply. And I mean, they put cancers and cracks and everything into our systems. They constantly feed us poisons, and we are just not dying quick enough. So we were programmed to engage in behaviors that is against our best interest. So we were programmed to pledge allegiance to our flags, but we were not programmed to support our children how we should. Because if you can stand for this flag that your ancestors hung from, under that flag,
right?
Your ancestors were beaten, raped, murdered, and kidnapped, tortured until today, under that flag. You'll stand and you'll put your hand over your heart and pledge your allegiance to it. But then when your child has performed for you, you just got a simple sit back and clap. You should jump to your feet too.
Right, yeah.
In celebration.
Jump to your feet for that. And I think when you mentioned the programming, our people have been, like you said, miseducated to hate ourselves.
Oh yeah.
Because I made a comment and someone said, "Well, you're militant." I said, first of all, what's your definition of being militant? And of course, their definition was something to do with violence. I said, right there, you've been miseducated. That word does not mean anything to have anything to do with violence. It's a strong passion for it. Nothing wrong with that. And I said, and also it's the ability to defend what you believe in also. So when I see people say, well, you're a revolutionary and you all pro-black, I said, well, I find it funny that you talk about me for what I say, but when something happens to you, we're the first ones you call.
Yeah.
After you talk bad about us.
Yeah.
So I think the miseducation is something that I want to focus on in regards to black people and this flag. and I'm gonna say really it's everyone, but we're gonna start with black people because it's the flag that represents us.
Correct.
So, what do you find worse, the the education of the concept, or the reprogramming of previously educated concepts?
Concepts is as far as what?
As far as the historical concept, like for example, what do you find more difficult, educating someone on their culture or reprogramming someone of the miseducation of their culture?
Oh, okay. Both are a challenge,
Mm-hmm.
and I think that would depend on the person that you're trying to reach out to. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I got you.
Because sometimes people seek knowledge, but they don't come from a neutral place. They're ready. They seek knowledge in order to argue their point, opposed to enlightening themselves. So that would depend on the individual who's seeking that knowledge.
Yes,
So it just that's kind of a toss up,
it is.
in my
Okay.
opinion.
I got you. Personally, I agree. I would probably say the whole reprogramming piece because
First, you have to deprogram
yeah, and then put the software back in the correct software. Because they already coming at you from the opposition side.
from a European mindset.
Yeah,
And it's really difficult.
Mm.
But again, like we were all programmed to think and do certain things
Exactly.
a certain way, but I was an individual who was seeking knowledge for enlightenment. I
Mhm.
wasn't seeking knowledge to stay comfortable with my way of thinking.
Right.
You know what I mean? So for me, my deprogramming was a little different. So
Uh huh. She's asking about what happens after the motorcade. Yeah, we're gonna get to that. Yeah, I'm gonna cycle it back around. I don't know. You good? Oh yeah. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. So she wants to know what's gonna happen after. Oh, go ahead. Okay. Stay engaged. Thank you. And and we got people watching on Facebook, watching on YouTube, so we got an array of comments coming in too.
okay,
So,
and I
yeah.
can't see them, so if I'm squinting, I'm
Oh
just
yeah,
trying to
yeah. Now we're trying to get everybody. Yeah,
just
but
trying to see.
Oh yeah, I see T babies. Oh yeah, yeah. She was adding to the. I got you.
Oh, okay.
Now, solidarity. We were talking about the reprogramming piece. I noticed that the more and more I teach students, especially our students, they have no concept of who they are.
First of all, thank you for becoming an educator. Thank
Oh.
you for being a black man and want to educate our children. I really do appreciate you for that.
Well, thank you.
Thank you. I have a cousin. He's going to college. Hi, Logan. I'm sorry, but I have a
That's all
cousin.
good.
He's leaving for college tomorrow, and he wants to become an educator as well.
Yes, and
So
now the
that
only
makes me
bit,
tingle.
now the bit of advice I want to give him is black male educators are needed,
Very much
but
so.
being wanted is completely different, and I'm experiencing that
See?
because when we come in there, we bring a different flair. Now, what I'm about to say in regards to that is that, and it ties into what I was going to discuss with you with our children, is that my first year teaching in a particular school district, a good chunk of my students were European descent. And when I talked about issues that affect black people, they were more receptive than the black students in the classroom. I had a parent come to me, a white man. He said, "Hey, I need to talk to you about something." I said, "Well, what's going on?" He said, "My daughter came home and said you were teaching about Malcolm X." I said, "Yes, I was." My daughter also said that you were coming from Message to Grassroots as your reference. I said, "Yes." Okay. I want to thank you, man. I really appreciate that because she needs to hear that. And I said, "Whoa, okay." So he was very receptive of that, but my African American children, they it was very hard to get them to understand where I was coming from.
Because you have to understand, our children only know slavery.
Mm.
Like,
Wow.
so it's like
Deep.
when you're talking about these things, it's like you just want me to remember when I was a slave. You want me to remember we were getting beaten and dogs were eating us. And so it's so our children need to understand that melanated people were first. All of this was ours. Every last bit of it. The mathematics, the science, the everything, the literacy, it was all us. And once they start to see images of that, we can begin to wipe out all those images of slavery, all those images. But see, that is going to come from what influences our culture.
Yes.
And what influences our culture the most is celebrities, unfortunately. So then we know how corrupt they are. So us as parents and individuals in the community must come together to develop ways to distract our children from all that miseducation, from all that negative imagery, and force them to focus on what's positive and what is true. We're not violent people by nature. We're not hateful people by nature. We are the most loving. We are the most spirited. We were the first. So if God created us in his image, then everything that you think about black people, that's what you think about God. Erykah Badu said it best. They fear us, so call us by our name. You fear God, fear us, call us what we are. So I mean, we just have. There's a lot of work that needs to be done within the community before we can start going out asking people, hey, can you treat me equal? Can you stop killing us? If we have a level of our own self-respect, we won't even engage in the type of behaviors that call those people into our community. We'll be able to self-govern ourselves. It's called sovereignty, people.
Yeah.
We can do it.
Yeah.
I know we can.
Exactly.
We can be a self-governed individual. We used to be. So we can always go back to it, but we have to understand where we came from, where we are, where we don't want to go, and then circle back around and make sure that we become what we were meant to be, and we all begin to live in our divine purpose. Because right now we just chaotic. We just out here.
Well, they say there's no leadership. And now, first of all, I want to disagree with that comment of them saying that there's not leadership because
there's plenty of leadership, but there's no positive influence.
Right. Now Dr. King's daughter, I want to say it was Bernice. She said that, there are plenty of leaders going on right now. They're grassroots. And they said, but you all don't listen to grassroots people. Now, I posted on Facebook one time, I said that we think the popularity equates to leadership, and it does not. Because there are a lot of individuals, and no disrespect, I'm about to step on some people's toes. Killer Mike, in my opinion, is not a strong black leader. He's not the only one. I mean, he has things to say, but I mean, like, we need to stop going to the entertainers and the actors and the actresses, and start going to the educators and the scholars. Now, I'm not saying that you can't be one and the same, but the people that we run into right now aren't what we're used to.
They do a very good job at articulating our pain, but they do nothing to fix it. Okay, so here's the thing. It was a picture on the internet. It was a few years back. It was like Jay-Z with a whole bunch of male celebrities. They were at some dinner or something like that.
Yeah, about the wealth in that picture.
Yeah, and so I was thinking to myself, it was like a whole bunch of millions of dollars in that room. I was like, so there's not one clinic, one bank, one school, just one that is targeted by our people for our people. I made that post and the lady told me, won't you do it? I have zero influence and I have 0 millions, but I'm expected to develop infrastructures in schools to help our people. But we are. We good? Okay. Yeah. Okay. So, but I don't have the millions or the influence to move those people in that direction, but everybody in that room did. And so here's a person on the grassroots that is pointing out how our pain is being manipulated for the betterment of those people, and I get told I should do it.
Right.
Like which I'm going to do it, but again, it's going to take time. I don't have millions, and I don't have the platform. So how do you expect me to do what these men can do overnight?
Yeah, and that's the thing. You know, we take a celebrity's influence, but we won't give them accountability. Now, T-Baby made a good point. Her show's on Before Mom, The Truth Be Told. So every Tuesday at 6 o'clock p.m., make sure you check her out because her show is a great feeder in the mind. Matter of fact, Tuesday in general is a lot of great shows. But she says on her comment that Diddy got schools and Jay-Z is about to open a school. Of course, yeah, and LeBron James too. However, we don't see a
Where
lot
are
of
these
that.
schools?
Yeah.
Like I see Puff Daddy dressing more like a woman and doing things like doing more culturally defective things. And can I get a tour of the school? Like all these things that they talk about. Oh, they doing it. Where is it? Like if I can.
And why is it not publicized more?
Why? I mean, what is the big secret? Like they say, like a lot of celebrities say, well, they give to schools and they do things they just don't want anybody to know. Why? But you want me to talk to you about, but you want to talk to me about killings and drugs and shoes and clothes and big booties and all that.
Yeah, but you won't talk about invest,
but you won't even
give back,
in one of your music videos. You know they'll do a show positive imagery with negative words in most music, in some music back in the 90s. In the music videos. How come we just can't get a music video with you showing me your schools? These people that's attending your schools, these classrooms. Can I meet a teacher? So we could talk about it and they could say it and about to, and until I see it, I do not believe it.
And that's one thing that, and I know we don't like her, Candace Owens. She made a comment that black people, we deify the negative. And there was some truth to that because we do pump up the negative. We do, talk about that. And if you don't believe me, look at the majority of the music that we listen to. It's a lot of negative content in that, but it's not enough positive, if not any at all. Now, of course, you say it's music and it's all about entertainment.
Have we looked up the word? Have we actually ever looked up the word entertainment?
Please tell them.
Entertainment is to be distracted.
That's all it is.
That's it.
Yeah.
So there's nothing positive in entertainment. That's why I say, give us the imagery. Keep your words the same. Give us the imagery we need because the images sit in your subconscious and you work from your subconscious. Your dreams comes from your consciousness. So think about that, y'all. When you so this is why we've been putting it's telling my story. It's telling my story. Let's tell a different story.
Yeah, and and from a classroom standpoint, there are 3 ways to write. One's to inform, persuade, entertain. And when we break down the what is in each one, everything that reads from entertainment is an escape from. It's like you said, it's a distraction. Yeah. And Forrest Tyson, you asked who this was. This is Miss Essence Tunley with National Black United Front. He said he really likes what you said.
Oh, thank you. I'm looking at myself. This is my. I'm okay.
Oh, no, it's all good. We just 2 old friends having a conversation. We used to do this a lot back in the day.
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah. Now we talked about the whole distraction piece. Now we're gonna bring it back to the event that you're discussing in regards to the motorcade for the 100-year celebration of the red, black, and green flag. Right.
Okay.
That's this Saturday.
Yes, at noon.
At 18th and Vine.
Yes.
Now, we distract ourselves from education. It's like a fail-safe that's in our mind. Sometimes I see myself doing that. If I see something of substance, I look at it, I'm like, I don't got time for that. But entertainment, like quick fix. There was a pastor one time who said that we set up for fun where we're destined for enjoyment. See, enjoyment is a more permanent fix. Something fun is quick.
It's temporary.
Think about all the fun things you did. Like
it's a whole bunch of fun things.
Yeah, like if you and I dated and I said, hey, I had fun. That's disrespectful. Or if I said, hey, I really enjoyed my time with you, I'm gonna always remember that.
Yeah,
that sounds. Yeah. So if someone says I have fun, okay.
Like
it's like
cheapens the moment.
Right. Yeah. So like if you're looking at the entertainment piece, like I remember a brother told me, Carl Bell, he said, we are slaves to our impulses. And it is our impulse to not be educated. It's our impulse to.
It's not our impulse. It's our program. We were programmed.
Yeah, right.
We were programmed to not. Everything that we do that's self-destructive in our conversation, in our relationship building, the way we eat, it was all set up for us to move in that moment.
Right.
We haven't been taught meditation skills. We haven't been taught the skills to meditate. You turn around, the society is set up to keep you distracted. So a lot of what we do and how we engage in society is we were set up to do that. The thing is once you realize that you're moving from a programmed state, you will then begin to deprogram yourself.
Yes.
and engage less in those
And
activities.
then start putting yourself around people that have your best interest at heart
And
I like
like-minded, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, that's just kind of where I am with it, and that whole celebrity thing. And I just, until I see it, I don't believe it. You can write about it all day long. I don't until I see it, I don't believe it.
You know, and I see, and with the whole stereotype piece, I remember someone asked me. They said, you know, your show has fluctuating views, and they were talking about my programming. I said, well, look, I said, if I can influence one person, I'm good. When I first got on the air, I was thinking about that. But see, I see a lot of my competition. I don't even call it competition. I see a lot of individuals out there,
Colleagues,
who do when they get on their platform, they're more enhancing a stereotype, where I enhance substance, and I try to bring on different viewpoints and stuff like that. But however, what I will say is with celebrities and people who seek the popularity, they really run off of the stereotype.
they go with popular opinions,
Right?
I mean,
which is a stereotype.
it's easier to yeah.
Yeah.
It's easier to go with the flow than it is to go against the grain. And a lot of times when people see you as revolutionary or militant and all these things, you're going against the grain. You're going against everything that you were taught, or everything that you were programmed to believe. You're going against that. And so you're gonna find individuals who are scared to come out of that shell, so they'll either just not say anything when you voice your opinion, and then you have others who are so comfortable, because ignorance is bliss, and that is so real. And I don't say that to be offensive, because there's some things that I'm ignorant about, and I feel like I'm you know what I mean. You're in this zone of comfort, like, 'cause I just know that's what it is. For instance, I in my mind, Africa is a great place. I haven't been there one day in my life, so therefore I'm ignorant to the African lifestyle and things that goes and the things that really go on there. All I know was shown to me on TV. So based for me, that's heaven, So that's an ignorance, and so I'm blissful with that ignorance. So I'm not. So when I say ignorance is bliss, ignorance is not stupidity by no means.
Not.
So we have to know we are blissfully ignorant on a lot of things, and so when you start to meet people that go against that grain, and they don't want to come out of that or admit that, because there comes accountability, and a lot of us just don't want to be accountable for our actions and the things that we do.
Yeah, and with the word ignorance, all that means is you're missing something, and it can be placed back to you. Like I tell my students, if someone said, hey, you're being ignorant, it's okay, you can be educated. Now if someone says you're being apathetic, now that's a problem. That means you just can't be reached at all. And like with the whole piece, and with the importance of the event that you have Saturday, it's giving people that substance to supersede the stereotypes. And
also, again, I'm on imagery. When those people down 18th Street, up Truce, all the way to 75th, across 75th, back down Prospect, across the 18th Street, when they see all these cars with these red, black, and green flags that is not associated with Black Lives Matter, it's going to raise question. Who are these people? What is that? What? Because let's be clear, and that's one thing that I failed to point out. Red, black, and green has nothing to do with the Black Lives Matter movement or the foundation. So let's be clear. These are two different things, two different movements, two different agendas. So when you see these cars are in solidarity for the bloodshed of our people, for the color of our skin, and for the motherland. It has nothing to do with looking for social justice from people that is not going to give it to us.
Right. Yeah. And I'm glad you said that too, because people automatically think that when you say Black Lives Matter, that you're automatically associated with that organization. And I really don't want to get off into that, but you brought it up, and I kind of got, don't get me wrong, my life does matter. However,
if we knew our history, we wouldn't even argue that point.
There you go.
So that's what I do. Like this, if we knew our history, we wouldn't even get involved in that conversation.
And the sad part about it, that I've noticed in this country, if an American, primarily of European descent, puts a stamp of approval on your culture, then you're able to express your culture. For example, I did a show on Cinco de Mayo, it's not even celebrated in Mexico.
You right.
You know, so like if because I had a conversation with a gentleman, and I'm gonna go ahead and say where he worked. We worked at Kaufman Scholars.
Okay.
And when you hear that name, you think of prestige, and you think of the tolerance and injustice that Mr. Kaufman stood for and against. You know, of what he did for children of African descent, children of color, gave them scholarships. So I say all that to say that this gentleman and I are having a discussion, and this is when the whole Ebonics thing came out, and he said, I told him I wasn't all about that Ebonics curricula. And he said, "Oh, hold on." He said, "You got Black History Month, and you got Ebonics. Come on, man. You can't have both." I said, "First of all, I don't want neither one."
You can't
And
have
I said,
both. You can have it all.
I said, I tell you one. I tell you why. Because Black History Month, yes, it was designed to educate people about us, and vice versa. But the Ebonics piece is designed to be a huge stereotype. Come on now, the Black English vernacular, no such thing as that. I said, when Black people first came to this country, where did we learn English? Come on now. Last time I checked, brother wasn't sitting over there talking to Queen's English or broken English. No, we learned that from those who captured our ancestors.
Yeah.
And also, I do want to throw in there that every Black person here is not here from the consequence of slavery. There were Black folks here way before that. So you do your research on that too as well. But then I was also telling him, I said, so don't you find it strange that you say that I got to settle for being, just to have 1 month for our culture? And then also, don't you think it's disrespectful that you tell me that I got to accept the education of broken English, quote unquote, that's blamed on by people who look like me? He said, oh, okay, well, thank you. I said, no, man, you can't be up in here saying
Just
stuff like that.
talking.
Just talking. Because it's like T.I. told Candace Owens, you talking some BS.
And she don't be though. Okay.
But not like right. Not all the time, because that comment that I quoted about her, she was on point.
The thing with the thing with Candace is she is a puppet.
Yes. She's not an idiot.
She's not by far.
No.
She speaks a lot of truth, but she somehow talks about it as if she's not in it with us.
Right.
You know what I mean? So it's like, Black people always this and Black. No, it's we. It's us. I'm your brother. I'm your sister. So if I'm doing it, you come check me. You don't sit on their platform and talk about me like that. That's one thing my mama did teach. She said, when you get in front of them Europeans, you don't disrespect and talk bad about another Black woman or no Black. You don't do that in front of them. And I just do not. I don't do it. If I'm gonna have a conversation with my brother or sister, it's gonna be to my brother and sister on our platform.
Right.
At our time. Even Malcolm X said, you don't front your brother out in the street. You pull him in to a table and y'all talk and have conversation. And we do too much fronting on each other.
Right.
And she's fronting because she like getting her head. She like getting pats on her head. Mm-hmm. And I follow a lot of those conservative YouTubers who are Republicans and whatever, outrights and whatever else.
Outright, yeah.
They dog Candace Owens. They talk so bad about her, and it's like, and that's what I was just like, Candace, stop.
Kind of like with that Sapphire lady, the two Black women that I think they call Sapphire and something.
Oh, the Trump stump people.
Yeah, and like, I mean, because they talking crazy too. Yeah.
It's there's facts. It's just you have to pull out. So you have to dig through all the buffoonery.
Yes.
To get to the facts. I mean, because like I said, a lot of it is just regurgitating what they hear their people saying so they can keep getting the pats on the head.
Yeah.
You know, okay. Child, like I can go on forever.
No, you're good because I mean, she's not, and I know it's unpopular opinion, but like there are some things that she says that make sense. However, it's where to surround.
Yeah.
So Bill Cosby made a good point. He was sitting down with Vanessa's, the middle child, the one that was always in trouble, her fiance. He said, you know what? I'm going to explain something to you. He said, tell me your favorite meal. And I'm asking you, what's your favorite meal?
Essence.
I'm sorry. I had Candace on the brain. Yeah, but
I like seafood.
Okay, so you like seafood. Now, if I came to you and I said, look, you got a seafood platter, all the seafood you like with the lemon and the butter and the Cajun seasoning, your favorite beverage right next to you, and I'm serving that to you on a nice silver platter. You would eat that, right? Mm-hmm. Okay. I take the same food, the same seafood platter, but I give it to you on a trash can lid. Would you eat that?
No.
No. That's Candace Owens. Candace Owens is
I agree with that.
I see Brother Tyson saying, I don't care how intelligent she is, she's ignorant to believe. I would believe anything she say if she can justify supporting grab them. Right, the grab about right. That's why I made that comment, Brother Tyson, about the trash can lid. That's Candace Owens because she won't justify what she's saying.
Because she's only regurgitating what she heard.
Exactly. And that's why we talked about solidarity with black people. That's why it's important for black people to come to an event like this because there's too much of that going on. And we need more solidarity, especially during these times.
We need a show of solidarity.
Yes.
The imagery, that subconscious that we don't focus on. It's the imagery. And that imagery is going to stick with a lot of people for a long time. The people that's involved, the people that's driving by, the people that's going in and out of stores, the people that's sitting on the bus stop. Everybody's going to be like, who and what was that?
Yeah.
And I swear, so it's gonna be the imagery that sticks on, and in this today's climate with all this racial tension, by default we are starting to turn to one another and look at each other differently because honestly, y'all, this country don't need us anymore. We were here to be the working class, and they don't need it anymore. We've allowed so many immigrants to come into this country. They establish businesses in our community and don't hire us. You know, you can go into a 7-Eleven and count on your hand how many black people you see work. It's that one cashier that's been there for years. That's it. The Mexicans hire themselves, and there's nothing wrong with any of this.
But it's always something wrong when we talk about it, though.
It's capitalism. It's business. Yeah. That's what you do. You establish a business, and then you save everybody that look like you. That's what you're supposed to do. The fact that and they keep saying black people are poor and black people are broke. We're not poor. We're not broke. We have plenty money to spend. That's why we can send so many of them Asian kids to college. We can send so many Middle Eastern children to college. That's what we do.
Yeah,
we do that
when they
because
put their store in our community.
When we stay at the nail shops, the hair stores, visiting Mexican, restaurants. Anything that when we get out to go purchase, we send a lot of kids to school while our kids are getting shot, won't make it to college, getting caught up pregnant and turning to welfare queens or jail or go to jail.
Yeah, you know,
like it's like crazy. We really need to realize where we are right now, and this country does not need us.
And it's one thing to say that Black Lives Matter, but you got to show it. And out of all those Black Lives Matter protests that I saw, I mean, one thing.
Do you think they were Black Lives Matters protests, or they were protests and people that represented Black Lives Matter were there?
I saw representation because it
almost seems like
I didn't see many black people protesting.
That part. So it's. We just have a lot of work we need to do.
We do.
We have a lot of work before we can go out into this and expect these people to take us seriously. Well,
right.
We're really not taking ourselves seriously.
Because you can't sit up here and say that you want to be treated as a citizen, a man or a woman. However, in the same breath, you're degrading yourself at the same time.
It's like watching a prostitute cuss you out because you won't invite her to her house for Sunday dinner.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like, what?
Yeah.
Girl, get some self-respect and then come back and talk to me.
Exactly.
And I am so sorry, y'all. I'm not saying this stuff to like hurt anybody's feelings. I'm not trying to be crass. But y'all, we just got a lot of work to do on our own before we can go out here asking people. I mean, the thing is this, do you see Mexicans marching? The whole time Trump has been in office, those Hispanic people have not rallied once anywhere.
They worked and made that money.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. With it's like they don't.
Yeah,
you don't see Asian people. Oh, you better go vote. You better go vote. They don't care.
They already know to do it.
They are.
Yeah.
This thing is this. They've built their own capital. They built a nation within this nation, and they don't care about these politicians. They got their grocery stores.
But there's more suppression in our communities. Now, we're coming up on the last couple minutes of the show, and we were talking about all this solidarity and all this education piece. Mm-hmm. And I feel that the event that you have on Saturday is an education piece. It's
Okay.
definite. And we had a question here that says, "Is there an entry fee, and can motorcycles be permitted?"
Motorcycles are definitely permitted. Oh, look, there's no entry fee. Okay, this is what's going to happen, guys. So at noon, we would like for you all to come and begin to rally. Line up. We're gonna have people directing traffic. That's gonna line your cars up, motorcycles, bikes, whatever, tricycles, whatever you have. Please come. Um, and then so we're gonna begin to pull off at 1 o'clock. So between noon and 1, we'll be out there selling T-shirts, getting you guys lined up and getting you guys lined up in order, um, and you can purchase your flags for your cars at that point. Um, I would like for you all to go to the National Black United Front of Kansas City. Go to their Facebook page, and they're also on Instagram, and like that event so you can have all the details of what's going to go on. Um, After the event, well, we have a 2-hour block. I don't really know how long it's going to take for us to get through the city, but there's a two. So it goes from we ride out at 1, and the goal is to be back by 3. After that, there's nothing really planned because of the COVID-19 and social distancing and things like that. We didn't feel comfortable making an event, but definitely, I mean, the whole point of the whole idea of meeting on 18th and Vine, that's our community, so to speak, and there's plenty of restaurants and bars down there. We could congregate there as long as we're not blocking traffic. We're fine.
Okay. Yeah. So.
Oh, also too, when you guys get there, stay in your vehicles. Again, trying to social distance and things like that. So yeah, so there will be people coming to your cars, and you can just kind of wave your hand out the window. Someone will come over and sell you some flags or T-shirts or whatever. Give you a map, whatever questions you have. Just bear with us, and we'll get through. We're trying to get through everybody within the hour, so we can roll out at 1 o'clock.
Okay. And one thing someone said was, what's the lasting effect? And the lasting effect is, of course, what we've been discussing for a full hour, is education. Before we go, it says, when Black lives matter to Black people is what I'm praying for. The Hispanics and Asians look after and take care of each other. That's what my hope is for Black people. And I want to end it on that comment, Mother Mary, is that, yes, we do need to start taking pride in ourselves, confidence in ourselves, and also educating ourselves too. Because, I mean, when it all comes down to it, you got to have a knowledge of self. It's like you said earlier, you can't ask for self-respect if you don't have self-respect for yourself. I want to thank you, Ms. Essence, for coming in.
Thank you for having me.
Oh, yeah, definitely glad to see you again and being on the show. The event again is this Saturday, August 15th, starting at noon, 18th and Vine, for the 100 years of the red, black, and green flag motorcade, sponsored by the National Black United Front. So make sure you come at 12 noon to support. And remember, the lasting effect is education. Like in the inkwell, let it overflow and stay permanent like ink. God bless. See you next week.
Bye.